What's poppin'? Welcome back to I'll Do It Myself. Dear Los Angeles, let's have a grown ass conversation. All right, so look, we all seen what's been going on with Joey Badass, Rayvon, Daylight, Hitter J3. I mean, he came to us then. He wasn't really a part of the main conversation of the diss records, but Daylight, Loaded Lux, all these back and forths. We had this rap battle that was sparked by Joey Badass's The Ruler's Back, where he said, too much West Coast licking, using the Jay-Z line from 22 Tools. Sparked the whole thing. We get the Red Bull. We get the Red Bull cipher with Big Sean, Ab Soul, and Joey Badass, where he pokes more shots at TDE, says the TDE's files for the copyright of TDE's, you know what I mean, does the hit 'em up rendition over. I mean, Pac took that from Biggie when they did the Get Money remix to diss him on. But it's been a long 2 weeks, right? It's been a long 2 weeks. What I want to talk about today is I want to talk about our relationship, and not just New York, but everybody's relationship when it comes to Los Angeles. AD is my dog. I've known AD over 10 years. I've never had a problem with AD. It's my brother. I'm saying? Pun. You know what I mean? Same. Known these guys for, and they good men. Like, let me just start there. They are very, very, very good men. You know what I'm saying? Honorable, respectful. Every time I'm around them, they show me love, extend their platforms to me, and show me nothing but grace and let me, work with them. And then they give me advice and all of that. But my brother AD made a tweet, and his tweet really bothered me. It bothered me. I'm going to be honest. It bothered me. He said, since y'all acting like y'all don't like L.A., don't call a L.A. next time you get robbed or want to come outside. Respect the West. All right. What bothers me about that is this. The West Coast, we always got to hear about how people hate the West Coast or we dislike the West Coast. Or most recently, we seen this clip go viral where my brother DJ Head was in Atlanta. I think he was talking with Ferrari Simmons. And they was basically saying about how, what hats to wear and not wear when you in the West Coast because of certain things that may or may not happen. They talk a lot about the politics of out there and the streets of out there and how they get down. The reason why this is very triggering to me is because my only problem that I have with y'all out there is that every time somebody don't agree with y'all, every time somebody have a difference with y'all, every time y'all feel disrespected, which I feel like y'all just be on edge waiting for stuff to be feel disrespected about. And we get called emotional a lot. New York gets called emotional a lot. But there's no place more emotional than LA because everything offends y'all. But the thing I dislike about when things get offensive to y'all is that y'all use the place as a weapon. Don't come here. You be arguing about the Lakers versus Celtics. You know what? Don't come to LA. That's the first thing. When somebody from LA get mad at you, the first thing they say out their mouth is, don't come to LA. I can't come to LA because I don't agree with you. There's no sort of way. And look, AD ain't saying this. I know he's not saying this to me. And I could have a conversation with him. This is not to attack him. This is just to talk about the overall narrative about how that's always positioned. How every time when there's some sort of conflict, it can never be resolved, or we don't try to resolve it because of the whole, it's easier to just say that, right? It's easier to just say that. Now, in the heat of battle, most people is going to say disrespectful things, right? But we just seen that with Kendrick and Drake, and throughout the whole Kendrick and Drake thing, it became, oh, they're Canadian. Like, it was like, you know what I mean? They kept poking at that, well, they're Canadian. Then you had Canadians that say, well, that's not how we operate. But then you had people who say, no, like, we don't care. They not, and then not like us, right? That whole idea. But then it's like, all right, when we look at, and this is just for myself. I'm not going to speak for nobody else. When I see LA, and like I said, I've never had no problems in LA. Not once. Because you want to know why? I don't do too much. I don't go to LA trying to act tough. I don't go to LA trying to pull up on people's blocks and act like because I'm a man or think that makes me more manly to go somewhere else that has poverty and just sit in their poverty and say, yeah, I'm here. I always felt like if you go to LA and you want to go to whatever you represent, because I can't tell nobody what they can say they feel, identify with, may that be B's and C's or whatever else you choose to do. If you going into an impoverished area, then help a little. And I think it's bigger than just doing a song for a person. You know what I'm saying? And it's also bigger than just giving somebody money, because money runs out. Like, going and trying to give people money is not gonna help everybody's situation. But I look at it like for myself, I look at LA like this. I've always loved LA. From the time I was a kid, when I first figured out who Snoop Dogg was. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style came out when I was like in the 6th grade. Yes, I'm that old. Dog Food. I remember I seen Corrupt. I saw Corrupt at is it Legends of the Summer Tour, DJ Drama, Wiz Khalifa. I was backstage, just like 2015, and I seen Corrupt, and it's my first time seeing Corrupt with my own eyes in my face, and I stopped him, and I said, yo, I just want to tell you that you like one of the greatest rappers ever. And I could see that what I said to him and how I said it to him, it made him like a little bit emotional. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how many people tell Corrupt that. But that's my story. You know what I'm saying? That's my story. That's how I grew up. I grew up on his music. I grew up loving Dog Pound. I grew up loving Dr. Dre, Lady of Rage. You know what I'm saying? Tupac when he went over there. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind, I was a kid. So when people was having all of these grown ass situations, I didn't really fall into that because I didn't understand politics as a 12-year-old kid about how people operated in the street. That wasn't my life. You know what I'm saying? That just wasn't my life when I was 11 and 12 years old and 10 years old when these dudes was putting out these albums. But as I got older, I remember the first time I went to LA, I was 29. And then I remember going to LA and then while being out there, sitting there and being like, yo, I'm gonna move out here one day. Like really, really making a plan to move out there. And then the more I went out there, the less safer I felt. And it wasn't because something happened to me, it just was other things that was happening. This person that I knew passed away. That person I knew passed away. I was with Nipsey one time when he did a video. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Picture Me Rolling. I was on the block. I was over there with him when he did Picture Me Rolling. I seen the love and the influence he had in his neighborhood. I saw what he was trying to build. And to see him lose his life out there, I was like, damn, I really don't feel safe here. You know what I'm saying? So I also, the opportunity that I was given, the opportunity that I was earned. I wasn't given nothing, but the opportunity that I was earned was given to me by my man Tim Henshaw. You know what I mean? Tim Henshaw is a brother that is great executive. He stopped working at Amazon and started his own marketing agency, Free Lunch. They just did a collaboration with Nike that I seen. Shouts out to Tim. Tim helped me make a lot of money. Tim is one of the reasons why I was able to do Camp Flog Now. I remember meeting, what's his name, Tyler, the Creator, for the first time. And the embrace that he gave me and the conversation that he gave me was so amazing. I was like, damn, people love me out here. So I had that love for LA. You know what I'm saying? Growing up as a kid and watching everything they did and seeing what they did and, you know what I mean, and embracing a lot of different coaches that they had and then going out there and getting the love, I love that. But what I hate oppression. I really hate oppression. And one thing I'm going to speak on is the first oppression that I see firsthand in LA, it come from a lot of their own people. Now, gangbanging been around for a long time. I feel like gangbanging is the greatest idea poorly executed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that was created, and while it might have not, it wasn't created for nothing positive. Let's just keep it 1,000. And it was gangs before it was what it was out there. It was other names for gangs. People have always wanted to make a tribe or a clique or a group to identify themselves. You see it in corporate America. You see it in corporate America. You see it in sports. You see it in business. You know what I mean? There's always cliques, and you see it in politics. Democrats, Republicans, liberals. You see all of that all the time. But LA, you know, I see how they oppress one another, and I've seen this for years and years and years. And I remember watching Street TV. For a project that I was working on, and I remember the brother Alonzo. He asked a question to these dudes, and he said, "Yo, like, this is basically genocide. Like, you know, black men, young black men specifically, taking on problems and situations that happened in the 60s that you had no idea of and nothing to deal with. And now you have a problem with somebody because they just from a certain place, but this person looks just like you." And the dude took a deep breath and he was like, "We ain't asked for this." And that was the first time in my life. Not the first time in my life. I had a lot of clarity or epiphany moments, but that moment I was like, damn, because I could see when he asked him that question, how much it affected him by the deep breath he took, how his eyes look, how his body language looked. And then, you know, of course, when I'm a kid, Biggie passes away. I don't really know what's happening when I'm a kid. I'm not reading. I mean, even if I read the newspaper, I wasn't an investigator news wasn't that descriptive. You know what I mean? It just was what it was, and you kept moving. But then you hear all of these stories about Suge and all these other guys, and it's like, then you get the Pop Smoke situation, right? And Pop, I got a chance to meet Pop. You know what I mean? Kid was super duper full of life. Worked with one of my close friends. Worked with a lot of people that I respect and love. And then he goes out there, he loses his life. And then I see PNB Rock. You know what I'm saying? I see PNB Rock and another dude who I had a chance to know, I had a chance to work with while when I was on Everyday Struggle. He came up there. I remember one of my little homies, he had just come home from prison and he was working downtown and he seen PNB Rock and he FaceTimed me and put Rock on the phone. And Rock was just so excited to see me because my little man wasn't lying. You know what I mean? About saying that he knew me. But he lost his life there. And then it's like, you know, when I see, it's not what AD said. It is what AD said, but it's what a lot of people say. Like I said, I just explained my love that I have for LA. You know what I'm saying? The culture. Ironically, man, I love the Lakers. I can honestly say I grew up a Lakers fan because of Kobe Bryant and Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying? But I love the Lakers because, I mean, just the house that Kobe built. Took my family out there in 2016 on Christmas game, seeing them play the Clippers in 2016. Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell, that team, right? And I'm just like, wow, man. Wow. We just had this fun battle. Gina Views, man. Shouts out to Gina Views. Shouts out to DJ Head. My bro Silas. It's so many people from LA that I got love and respect for. But when the smallest inclination of a disagreement happens, and it might be somebody trolling that say something stupid, you start getting these jokes about where you can't go now. There's black people. Yeah, I'm going to go that deep with it. Y'all better not come here. Because we arguing about rap. Then I see Ben Baller jumping the, yeah, because I'm usually the second person that get called when somebody get robbed. And I'm like, it disgusted me. I ain't gonna lie. It really, shouts out to my sis Dejanay too. That's my girl right there. You know what I mean? Like my peoples, for real. She from LA. Like I said, I got a lot of love in LA. But when I see that, like when I see certain verbiage, when I see certain things said, I'm just like, yo, bro. At what point do you realize the oppression? At what point do you realize that it's a way to communicate without saying that? Now listen, gangsters ain't got to explain themselves. That's straight up and down. A gangster ain't got to say too much and a gangster ain't got to explain themselves. But my thing is like, that's where we at. I hope nobody would ever feel like Joey Badass did something so bad where people feel like they gotta harm him. Because I didn't see that energy directed towards him, but I just seen like that LA energy. And then I always think about y'all saying, yo, people hate us. People don't like the West. People hate us. They don't like us. They be hating on us. Then we don't get the credit we deserve. We don't get the love we deserve. We don't get this. We don't get that. You see that 1,000 times. And then I say, well, do y'all wonder why? Do y'all wonder why? It ain't no LA artist that done went to Philly and lost their life. Ain't no LA artist that done went to New York and lost their life. Or entertainers. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no, I can't say if somebody got robbed, because one thing about New York is people get robbed. Everybody get robbed out there. You know what I mean? But it's like when it be so descriptive to the, yeah, you know, once you land, my auntie is the one at the gate, checking the gate. You know what I'm saying? I just killed me a mosquito. But my auntie is the one at the gate. You know what I mean? And then my sister is the one at the rental car place. It's like, damn, all that? And we the haters? We the ones that don't like y'all? We the ones that can't stand y'all? And we gotta hear descriptions about how the extents that people will go to harm you. That's where y'all hate comes from. That's where y'all hate comes from. Y'all hate is basically built on creating this idea of an establishment that if you at one point or another don't agree with the establishment, that the establishment will do everything in its way to take you down. And I get it. Listen, we from different regions. We got different cultures. We different ways. A lot of people feel ways about people claiming what they claim and going over there. Listen, I'm not even here to get in all that. All I'm here to talk about is just say, at the end of the day, we black people. We black people. We are black people. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people say, because they start throwing that. Now I'm seeing that conversation thrown out. Y'all treat us like this, but y'all don't treat them like that. But y'all fast to jump on it, you know what I mean? And I'm not even gonna go there because I don't play nobody politics. I don't play nobody games. I don't do all of that checking in, none of that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? When I land, I got people I talk to and I got people I see. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered with nobody. I mean, but I run my life. Nobody else does that. I just want people to realize, man, that it got to be something more. It got to be something more, and it got to be something more mature when it comes to that conversation. Got to be something more. Now, if somebody threatening you, I could see that. But if we just talking about raps, like everybody else talking about raps, and a few words might fly, don't start telling people what they cannot do. Last thing we need, we at war with so many things within ourselves. Last thing we need is another war. A debate is cool. War isn't necessary. Best way to win one is to not have one. This is I do it myself. For the ones that rock with me, now we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. I'm from Harlem, but I love LA. Peace.